So what brings you to the office today?
I can't let go. I know I should let go. I know I need to let go, but I can't let go.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you can't let go. Is that correct?
Because he's the face of the franchise. Chris Kreider is the Rangers, and I can't let go.
Does this sound like you? Do you suffer from player abandonment issues? If so, then let EDI Sports Cards be your emotional breakdown support during the Rangers offseason, because you need someone in your corner when Chris Kreider leaves the New York Rangers. Welcome back to EDI Sports Cards. So in this video, we're going to go over the drama that my last video created amongst the Ranger fans, and actually some Devil fans chimed in because I guess they're gloating and bragging rights, and they have every right to do so. The Rangers stunk. They lost to a worse team, and we need to own that. We need to swallow it and figure it out. Now, this video, I did poke a little fun at Kreider. We'll get into that. So if you're a big Chris Kreider fan, EDI Sports Cards will offer you emotional breakdown support service because you're going to cry at the end of this video. So if you're not going to be alarmed at the fact that I'm telling you, you're going to get triggered if you're a Chris Kreider fan. So Dancing Larry, I know Chris Kreider is your favorite Ranger. So, get a security blanket, and just try to hang on for this video. This is a team effort. I'm a Ranger fan, you're a Ranger fan, everybody else that's writing comments on YouTube are Ranger fans. We're all in this together. I'm working with you, and what I want to do is I want to highlight one of the commenters that made a really good comment, and I'm looking for good comments. So if you want to get highlighted, make me a good comment because I respect your opinion. Unlike the fan where they could care less what you have to say, I actually care what you have to say because you know what? I don't know everything. I know as much as you do. So let's do this together. And one of the things you're going to see in this video is how we piece together this roster. Now, we don't run the team. Chris Drury runs the team. But to be honest, he should be watching these videos because I think we're at the top end of how you construct this team. So anyway, I want to show you Joe Malillo's YouTube comment. Because of their poor playoff performances, I believe the Rangers will lowball Miller and Lafreniere RFA extension, giving teams the ability to propose offer sheets to sign each player. So what's really important about that is that, again, those are your two RFAs. That's what Chris Drury has this summer. He has to sign those two players. Now, if they can get Miller and Laffy, and Joe Malillo, basically his prediction is that they will be able to sign Miller. It's a question mark if they'll be able to sign Lafreniere because Montreal has interest in him and he's from Montreal. But if the Rangers don't match the offer sheet, they will get a first round consideration or they'll get draft picks. They're going to get compensation for that because he's a restricted free agent. So automatically the Rangers will get something back. So it's a win-win for the Rangers. So I think they're going to re-sign both of them. I think they're going to sign Lafreniere and K'Andre Miller. So what that does is put us back to what do we do about Chris Kreider? Because although my fantasy is to trade Chris Kreider, he does have a no trade clause or no movement clause in his contract. And so my point being is that Kreider cannot be moved except if Kreider asks to be moved. And we'll get to that in a second, okay? So for everybody that made the comment, you're correct. So Zibanejad has a no movement clause, Panarin has a no movement clause, and Kreider has a no movement clause. And the Rangers can't do anything except if Kreider says to the Rangers, I want out. Again, put a pin in that. We'll get back to that in a second. So We have 11 million split 7 ways. We need 4 forwards, 2 defensemen, 1 backup goalie. All right? We talked about it. Now, my dream of Tarasenko signing with this team is probably out the window. It's not going to happen unless Tarasenko decides to take less money, because he's going to go to free agency. He's already said that through his agent. He's going to free agency, and he's going to see what the offers are. Now, the Rangers might make him an offer, or they might not. I don't know. But probably, like 90% probability, he's not signing with the Rangers. So Tarasenko's out, which puts us back on this roster. So let's take a look at it. Let's reset. Where are we with this roster? So here you go. You've got the first line. You got Panarin, Zibanejad, and no right winger. We got the second line. You got Kreider, Hedel, and Capo. Because we don't know if Lafreniere will sign or not. And if he doesn't sign, Kreider goes to the second line. He's the left winger on the second line. And then you have Jimmy Vesey is on the fourth line, and you have 4 holes. So you got the first line, third line, fourth line on the right side, and you still need a third line left winger. So we talked about in the last video potentially trading Kreider and Goodrow. Now you can't move Kreider unless he says I want out, but you can move Goodrow, which what that'll do is actually give you $15 million split 6 ways. And I know what you're saying. Wait a minute, you just said 7 ways. Where did you get the extra man from? Okay, so Brennan Othmann will come up, and he's going to compete with Vesey for the third line. Now, that's a good thing for the Rangers, because Othmann basically has to kind of say, like, yes, I'm ready for the third line, or Vesey kicks his ass, which is great for the Rangers, because now you got a third line guy with Vesey playing with Trocheck, and then you have the fourth line where Othmann can kind of build and get his, game going, but he has less pressure on him on the fourth line. Who knows what'll happen, but that'll be what training camp says, is does Vesey get the third line, or does Othmann get the third line? So let's get back to the second piece of what Joe Malillo was talking about, which is what happens with Lafreniere and K'Andre. So if you can sign both of them here, so this is pretty much what I think they'll probably sign for. So Lafreniere will get $2 million with the Rangers, or he'll be gone, and K'Andre Miller will get about 1.5. All right, so that's $3.5 million. Again, give or take $500,000, but that's $3.5 for 2 roster spots. All right. Now, if Lafreniere signs with the Rangers, what do we do about Kreider? Now, Joe Malillo, and I'm going to show it to you, he suggested that Lafreniere should move to the right wing on line 1. And this is what I have to say to you folks, which is where the triggering is going to come for the Kreider fans. Now, for most of you Ranger fans, apparently a very short-term memory, but you don't seem to remember that Kreider refused to be the captain of this team, okay? He refused to wear the C. So when we needed him the most, walking us through this rebuild, he was not there. So for me, my suggestion is that the person that needs to go to the right wing is Kreider, not Lafreniere. I want to keep the kid line intact as the second line and move Kreider to the first line as the right winger. And you can see how it looks right here. So you've got Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, and if Kreider doesn't like it, he can suck on a pacifier because he's a baby. You're playing on the front line. You're playing with Zibanejad. What else do you want? Like, legitimately, you have a no-move clause. Do what's best for the team. And if you really want to call yourself a Ranger, then shut up and move to the right wing. If he doesn't like it, you force him there. And if he doesn't like that, he'll ask for a trade. That's how you move Kreider. And for any Ranger fan that's telling me, no, guess what? For all of you probably watched the movie Miracle, the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. And Kreider needs to get over it and move to the front line on the right side and shut up about it. So that's my suggestion. You got that top line now. You got Panarin, Zibanejad, and Kreider. There's no more excuses now. Like, I'll just put it this way. If you move Kreider to the right side on the front line, there's no excuses. If the Rangers can't win, it's on the players. You can't blame the coach. You can't blame Drury. You can't blame anybody. It's the players who suck. That's it. So I like to play games. So here we go. Players, you want to play a game? That's fine. We'll play a game. We're going to put you in the position to be good. And when you don't perform, it's on you. Don't look anywhere else. The mirror is shining back at you. So that's what I'm saying. We need to start actually putting the players in a position that they can do well, and then also basically pull the rug out so they have no more excuses. So they turned on Gallant. Okay, that's fine. I showed you how well that Kreider and Zibanejad did under Gallant. Like, you can see the stats. Kreider got 50 goals. Is he going to score 40 goals on the front line? I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. I think Kreider's best years are behind him. I think maybe he'll score 35 goals next year. Maybe. He scored 36 this year. I don't know if he can put in 40. Now, Zibanejad, I have a lot more, I have more faith in Zibanejad, and I think that Panarin with Kreider on the right side might be able to get his 100-point season. So I think that Panarin will put it in. Now, a lot of the comments are talking about the fact that Panarin doesn't show up in the playoffs. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm just telling you. And there's nothing a coach can do about that. If you want Panarin, that's what you get. There's nothing you can do. Now, again, I think that whatever coach they bring in probably needs a performance coach in addition to their assistants, because the Rangers have a mental problem. They don't know how to play as a team. Now, that's not just going to happen. You have to teach teamwork. Now, I happen to do that. There are 5 stages to team building. The Rangers don't do any of them. So if the Rangers are going to try to gel together, it's not happening. All of you guys can wish it, dream it, want it as much as you want, but there are fundamentals to team building. The Rangers don't do them. They're never going to come together as a team. And putting all the blame on Trouba because, well, he's supposed to do it. Trouba doesn't know what he's doing. He's doing the best that he can. And I'm going to tell you, from a guy that also does leadership coaching, Trouba's doing a really good job. I'm impressed with what Trouba has done, because this is a team with a lot of mental holes. Mental holes. They don't show up every game. And all of you know that. You watched 82 games this season. You saw the mental breakdowns. You saw when Trouba had to throw his helmet and literally yell at the bench, "Are you going to play?" Like, seriously. A player in the NHL has to ask his teammates, "Are you going to play hockey?" That's what they get paid to do. They get paid to play hockey. Did they not understand that? Do they need a clause in their contract, and you will show up to every game? Maybe that's what the Rangers need. Maybe they need another contract where each player actually signs it and says, "I promise to play every game, every shift," because the Rangers don't show up. Now, again, the coach can't do anything because the coach has got his hands tied. No matter who they bring in, they have their hands tied. I know you guys are frustrated with it. Certainly I'm frustrated with it, but that's 2023. That's what it's like to manage 20-year-olds. That's what it is. Their feelings are more important than productivity. So if they feel a certain way, end of story. Their feelings are more important than hockey. That's the society we live in. Their feelings are more important than winning. Their feelings are more important than hockey. Their feelings are more important than everything. So if a player comes to the rink and says, "I don't feel like it," guess what? You're stuck. Now, again, I help people deal with this stuff because, unfortunately, when you have a society that thinks feelings are the most important thing, nothing gets done. And that's where we are. So did the Rangers perform in the playoffs? No. Are the Rangers going to perform next year? Who knows? Let's look at the roster. So you've got it right there. So we got 3 holes, right? So we still got 3 holes. Like, I want to make that very clear. We still got 3 holes. You've got the 3rd line, the 4th line on the right side, and you got center. So how do we fill those holes? So let's look at it. We've got Jimmy Vesey, Brennan Othmann, Ryan Carpenter, Will Cooley, and Johnny Brzezinski. Now, somebody on YouTube actually mentioned to me on the channel, and I appreciate the comments. I want everybody that's watching this to know, don't hesitate to comment what you think. If you have a suggestion or if you don't like one of these suggestions and you have a reason why, put it down. I'm not yelling at anybody. Like, if you look at the comments back, like, go ahead, read them all. Like, I'm listening to every single one of you because you know as much as me. I know as much as you. We are in this together. This is Rangers Town. Understand, we are a team. The Rangers don't play like a team, but we're a team. And when I say this is different than WFAN, WFAN is basically a garbage fire. You know it. It's horrible. Listen to WFAN and you're not getting anywhere anytime fast. That's not going to be here. We're putting together actual roster, like we're running the team. And to be honest, Chris Drury should be watching this in real time because he's probably going, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, well, you know what? That might not be a bad idea. And if the fans are behind it, that gives him the leeway. The worst thing that Chris Drury can do is piss off the fans. So this is where the action is happening. That's why you should subscribe. That's why you should comment. That's why you should get involved. That's why you should tell every other Ranger fan. And I welcome you to call the WFAN, probably Boomer and Geo, because again, the other shows are garbage. So call Boomer and Geo because Boomer's the only broadcaster on that station and tell him, hey, Boomer, have you seen EDI Sports Cards on YouTube? Because we're actually putting the team together. Because Boomer doesn't know what to do either. He's just as frustrated as we are. Now again, Boomer's the only broadcaster on there. You don't have Francesa and Mad Dog anymore. They're gone. So any of the real journalists, the real broadcasters, they're out the door. They're out the door. So you have a bunch of guys from a garage that talk about sports and have call-in and all of that. We're putting together the team. So here it is. That's $4.2 million for 5 roster spots. And where does that get us to? It fills out the roster. Now, like I said, as we look at it, like I said, you've got the first line will be Panarin, Zibanejad, and Kreider. If Lafreniere comes back, you have Lafreniere, Hedel, and Kakko. Then you got Othmann and Vesey competing for the 3rd line. All right? Now you have Othmann, Trocheck, Brzezinski, and then you have Cooley, Carpenter, because someone on YouTube said Carpenter is a center, which is great because you need a center. So now you got Cooley, Carpenter, and Vesey on the right side. Now, I know that Jimmy Vesey is a left winger, but guess what Jimmy Vesey does that Chris Kreider doesn't? Jimmy Vesey will do anything the team needs. That's why I like Jimmy Vesey, because Jimmy Vesey knows that he's fortunate to play in the NHL. He is lucky that he's with the Rangers again. He is happy as pink to be with the Rangers. And so he'll go to right wing because if that's what the team needs, that's what he'll do. And you need players like that. I'm telling you, Chris Kreider is a major pain in the neck. So I know that you like him. I like him. He's top 10 in Ranger history. But he is a pain in the neck. So move him to right wing, because if he doesn't like it, ask for a trade. And that's how you get out of Chris Kreider's contract. That's how you get out of this mess. Because, to be quite honest with you, you need Lafreniere, Hedel, and Kakko. You need them way more than you need Kreider. Again, Kreider's got a no movement clause, so you can't get rid of him anyway. All right, so what does that do for the salary cap? Here we go. It leaves $9 million for 2 spots. 2 spots, that's it. $9 million for a backup defenseman and a backup goaltender. That's it. Like, Chris Drury's got a lot of room now. Like, he can make some moves, which means maybe he puts a trade together. Maybe he waits and just says, look, we'll go to camp. We'll do the draft. We'll see what we got in camp. And then I've got room to maybe make a move, or maybe he signs a player in free agency. But he's now got a lot of money to throw at one player. And that might make the difference. That might make the difference. And if they don't have Lafreniere, they might want a player to come in and basically kind of shore everything up. Now, again, they need a right winger more than anything else. So if they go to free agency, it better be a right winger. So maybe that's where they can compete with Tarasenko to bring him back. I think it's a dream. Again, I can dream all I want. I don't think they're going to be able to sign Tarasenko. So he might be out. This is the roster. We'll give you one more shot at it. So the front line will be Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, Laffy, Hedel, Kakko, second line, Oppmann, Trocheck, Brzezinski, and Cooley, Carpenter, Vesey. That's the New York Rangers as I see it for the 2023-2024 season. We'll see how it goes. Make your comments. As always welcome. Anybody that comes to this channel is always welcome here. This is the Rangers Town channel. This is EDI Sports Cards. If you like Rangers talk and sports cards, you've got videos all over this channel. I hope that you go watch the other stuff. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. So that's what they got on air. They got a bunch of guys they picked out of a garage and they gave them a show.